Last year we got to review the Levo 4, Specialized long travel, full power electric trail bike. And there was one big takeaway: versatility. Yes, it's got the bigger battery and the extra power you'd expect, and it's still incredibly capable. It never really felt fazed by anything on the trail, but what really stood out was just how adaptable it felt. Big days out, technical terrain, mellow trail center laps, it just seemed to do it all. Today we get to talk about this, the Levo R. We're going to spend some time out on the trails and then talk to Specialized about their latest offering. Hi there guys, welcome back to the channel. Once again, I'm joined by Duane from Specialized. Duane, thanks for coming down and talking to us and getting us some time on the bike.
No problem, Dave. Thanks for the invite. Yeah, it's really exciting. It's obviously a privilege to introduce an addition to the Levo family, the Levo R. Our aim with this bike, or what the engineers certainly tried to achieve, was agility, speed, and reduce the weight of the bike. And I think the team's done a really good job. Obviously, we've ridden it now a fair bit. Done some testing on it, and it does lend itself to a specific rider. But yeah, we're very excited about it.
Okay, can you give us some more sort of key details on what the Levo R is?
Certainly. So although the mainframe looks very similar, it is actually different to Levo 4. The engineers have managed to shave about 500 grams off of the weight of the mainframe. Travel is a big difference. This bike runs 140 mils travel up front and 130 mil rear suspension shock. So that's a bit different from Levo 4, right, where we're running the 160, 150 platform. So Levo R, a little bit less travel, 140 on the front and 130 on the rear. Again, just to make the bike a bit more agile. It's not a mullet setup. It runs a dual 29er, front and back. That means this bike just wants to roll. Once you get on it, you can actually feel the bike just wants to roll. It wants to go fast. So those are key differences in the frame. So one, the frame's a bit lighter, 29er front and back, and then the suspension runs 140 mils travel up the front and 130 on the rear.
Perfect. The one thing I loved about the Levo 4 was just how capable that bike was. Can you tell us a bit more about why Specialized went in this direction for the Levo R?
Okay, so the Levo 4 is a very capable bike, right? That you'll pretty much do anything type of bike, no limits to it really. Aim and shoot sort of bike, you know, so if you get a rocky section or a set of routes coming up, that bike is so capable you just shoot right through it. But we are aware there is a rider out there who maybe does a different type of riding, maybe long bridle ways, which maybe there's a few gates to maneuver the bike over. Or there's somebody who's a bit more selective in their line choice when they do ride, or they maybe just ride smooth bike park trails all day long, right? Not overly fussed with very technical riding. So that's where the Levo R really lends itself to that sort of rider, being a bit more agile, being faster, and being lighter weight.
Great. Now I heard that we've got a new motor update for the Levo system. What kind of difference is that going to make in terms of performance?
Correct. So with the power update, which we launched on the 17th of Feb, we have provided more power in both the 3.1 platform as well as the S-Works platform. So big change in the 3.1 is that we're increasing the peak power by 22%. So that's going to increase from this now 666 watts up to 820 watts. So that's a nice amount of increase in power. And then the torque is going to increase from 101 to 105 Newton meters of torque. Now, 4 Newton meters doesn't sound a lot, but when you ride it, the acceleration and the responsiveness from the motor is really noticeable. Other things we've changed is the cutout when you reach the speed limit. It used to be a little bit on-off feel, where the team's done a good job in sort of fading it into the cutout from assisting to no assisting. And that's something I really noticed when I jumped on the new firmware on Levo 4 and Levo R, is once you do reach that speed limit, it's a lot smoother, that transition, so it doesn't feel so on and off. And giving the rider the capability to do over-the-air updates at home, right? So they don't really have to pop it into a workshop. They cancel if they wanted to, but giving the option that they'll be able to update the display and the motor at home, and that will obviously open up that new power for them. On the S-Works motors, we've increased the peak power from 720 to 850 watts, so that's about 18%. The torque remains the same, which is still really high, and it's a really punchy motor. We've all ridden it at that 111 Newton meters of torque. So yeah, just more power, which is what riders want, right? The more the better, really. But again, for us also, I mentioned power, but it's important to deliver that power in a natural way. Power without control means nothing, right? So for us, apart from increasing the power, we still want to make sure that, one, it delivers it smoothly and it keeps the rider in control and delivers it in a usable manner.
Can you tell us more about the system on the Levo R compared to the Levo 4?
Certainly, yeah. So we touched on the differences in basically the kinematics, the suspension and the frame. The nice thing is that the system is exactly the same as you get on Levo 4, right? Which is now a proven system. It's powerful, it's smooth. It's efficient in terms of the range that you get from the battery. So the nice thing with Levo R is that it is exactly the same system, but we've really gone to work more on the suspension and the frame to give this bike a different feel, which is aimed at a slightly different rider compared to Levo 4.
Okay, so we've been out riding the Expert model today.
Correct.
It's got some fantastic components on it and a really nice carbon fiber frame. What other models are available in the range for riders?
Well, at launch, when we launch, we're launching with our carbon model. So you'll have the Comp Carbon at 6799, the Expert Carbon, which is 8499, and then also the S-Works model at 12499. So initially at launch, we will have the 3 carbon models available to riders.
Perfect. And when are these going to be available in stores for us?
Nice thing is, as soon as we launch on the 24th of Feb, these bikes will be available at your local Specialized retailer.
Okay, so we've had some fun days out testing the new Levo R. We've done some local single track, we've done some cross-country adventure rides, and it's been quite a surprise. I wasn't expecting to like the Levo R as much as the Levo 4. And if it was my choice, I would be picking the Levo R over the Levo 4. Let me explain. There's going to be a lot of people out there saying, it's got the same battery, it's got the same motor, the same Specialized system. Why wouldn't you just pick the Levo 4? It's got more travel, it's going to be more capable, it's going to look after you better on really rough, technical, steep descents. And the answer is simply that lots of us don't do that sort of riding. Lots do, but for my own riding, which is predominantly trail centres, single track and, adventure rides on my doorstep, the Levo R is definitely the weapon of choice. It looks almost identical to the Levo 4, but it's a clearly defined different ride experience. It's noticeably lighter, and coupled with the shorter travel, that makes it a lot more agile and nimble on the trails, which I really dig. A colleague of mine pointed out that if you don't need that extra travel, why lug it around with you? You'll get the same plush and comfortable ride from the Genie shop. The Fox 36 SL up front is more than capable in its own right and a perfect match for the bike, as are the SRAM Motive brakes and the GX wireless drivetrain. It's like a Levo 4, but with a more race or sporty feel. Everything just feels tighter, more acute, more precise. As versatile as it was, the Levo 4 felt like it could plough through almost anything. But this feels like it's set up for riders who are actively picking lines, who like to move around on the trail. And they like doing it on a bike that they can pop and jump. It's very active and very lively. I think this bike is going to be a lot more appealing to riders who are just getting into mountain biking and they want a powerful e-bike, but they want something that's a lot lighter and a lot more maneuverable. If you frequently ride past your comfort zone and you like hitting bigger features and doing bigger days at the bike park, then the Levo 4 is the right option. For everything else, the Levo R is more than a match for just about everything at the trail centre. To me, the Levo was always an electrified stump jumper, and this bike feels much closer to that kind of bike or that kind of rider. Maybe that's why I gelled with it straight away. Anyway, that's our first look and our ride impressions on the brand new Levo R from Specialized. As usual, we want to hear your thoughts in the comments, so go drop some for us. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more riding content. And if you're looking for your first e-bike, mountain bike, road or hybrid bike, then head to uprisebikes.com. That's all for this time. We'll see you out on the trails.